Hello and welcome. It's Emily. This is going to be my first upload here, and I figured there's no better way to get started than to just join in an end of year tarot tag. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I just want to just jump right in and get started. This is going to be the end of year tarot tag, and our first prompt is the deck that you used the most this year. Now, for me, it's going to have to be my tarot vintage. I was just waiting and allowing my practice to evolve this year, and so this past year was kind of taken as a time to get to know myself a little bit better and kind of what I was looking forward to doing. My tarot vintage is something, excuse me, that I was able to just kind of sit in and allow, excuse me, I've got scratchy voice this morning, it seems like. It's just something that I was allowed to give myself the space to sit in and get to know better. And so I do read professionally, and this just seemed to be a deck that really worked this year for me. It was something that I was allowed to just get to know the RWS system better and more comfortable with. And I mean, this color palette is by far probably one of my most favorite RWS decks that have been remade. And so, yeah, this was just kind of my workhorse for this past year. My practice has been evolving a lot this year. I mean, prior to probably the last half of this year, I was just kind of not wanting to bring in many more decks than, what I needed. I try to be a very minimalist person. And so I was just kind of working with one of my most favorite decks that I have. Now, I did start off with only a few decks. However, this year I've kind of wanted to change that and add some more into my practice. And so we'll get into those shortly. But yeah, this is my tarot vintage. It is a Lo Scarabeo deck. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a lovely RWS clone. Yeah, it was probably just one of the ones that I used the most throughout this year. And so, moving forward, we have our second prompt, which happens to be a deck that you didn't use often or at all this year. Now, this kind of goes with my tarot vintage. This is my tarot Nuage by, I'm not even sure I'm going to pronounce that right, so I'm not even going to bother. It is a US Games deck. Again, the color palette is so similar to my tarot vintage, but this one is a bit more grungy, I guess you could say. This has a super fun back. I kind of like it. I kind of don't, but it's okay. I think it's fun regardless. It's very unique. For the most part, this deck remains somewhat in order, so I'm just going to flip through them and put them face down. Now, this is, again, it's kind of like my tarot vintage, but this has a bit more, want to say fantasy, or to me it seems almost elemental. It has like a very elemental energy, which I'm getting really into. We have adorable goblins and penguins in this deck. And I just think it's super, again, I love the color palette. I think it's beautiful. Excuse me. We have little imps, it almost seems like. I mean, it is fantasy-esque, and I'm not super into the fantasy realm. However, I'm maybe getting there. And so, yeah, I like this deck. I think it has adorable little goblins. It seems like a fairly easy reader and somewhat relatable to the RWS system. And I'm here for it. I think it has, again, like, these colors to me are just gorgeous. I love them. And so I look forward to using this deck a lot in 2025. Yeah, super cute. That is my Tarot Nuage, and that is a deck that I didn't use at all this year. It is a fairly recent addition to my practice, and so it'll have its time coming up. Now, for our third prompt, we have our most recent addition. You guys, this is so fun for me. This is going to have to be my pot tarot. It is by Peggy White, and it is published, I believe, by Chronicle Books. Yeah. And so this was something that, I don't know what I was expecting, but I love these like little cutouts for your thumbs. I think this is so cute. So you can open the deck. Now, this is something that I have wanted, and so I've known that it was a thing and that it excuse me again, my voice, that it existed. Let me get a sip of my coffee. It's early, you guys. It's like barely 7:30 here for me, and so I don't think my voice has adjusted. I apologize. This is, yeah, like I said, this is a deck that I have known that was in existence. However, I kind of talked myself out of getting it. It has spreads in the guidebook. One thing that I do really like about this is that it has color images, and I think that's so fun to have in a guidebook. So for our majors, we do have full color with a upright and reversed meaning. And then for our minors, we do have a small but still colored image with our upright and reversed. The suits have been changed. I believe it's bongs, joints, pipes, and buds. Obviously, those correspond to our elements, which is seen in the tarot. And so, yeah, I just think it's a super fun deck. I haven't done anything with it than flip through it. So again, this is one that I'm going to keep in order as we go through it. I bought it for myself for Christmas. You guys, I think it's super fun. This is something that teenage Emily would have definitely bought at first glance. I love it. I have been a pot connoisseur, if you will, and I just think this deck is fun. Now, is it something I'm going to use for professional readings? Probably not, but I think this is going to be like my happy-go-lucky deck that I get to play with this year. The Chariot, it's adorable. My first vehicle ever was a 69 Volkswagen bus, and so it resonates. Everything about this deck, you guys. This Temperance card was probably the card that made me really want to get it. I think it's a perfect representation of temperance energy in the average stoner's life. You guys, I'm excited. The tower with a broken bong, like, come on. It'll feel like the world's ending, even though we all know it's not. This sun card is also super adorable, you guys. It's a stoned sun. Like, you cannot go wrong with that. Our minors are a bit pippish, but I don't mind. I still think it does an excellent job at representing the energy. And so, yeah, I mean, I really look forward to making this my happy-go-lucky deck of 2025. I also feel like there's no better time than to upload this video on December 31st, New Year's Eve of 2024, and so I'm jumping in and I'm doing it. You guys, it's so fun. It's so cute. We cannot go wrong with this. Love it. And so, yes, that's my pot tarot and my most recent addition this year. Excuse me. Now, moving into prompt number 4, we have a deck that isn't my usual style. So, here's a deck. And I use it, you know. It definitely gets its use, but I don't use it a ton. Now, this is Modern Love, Exploring the Many Facets of Tarot by Ethany. I wish I could say that the box is torn on this deck because of how many times I've used it, you know, but that's not the case. The box came, it was already pretty weak over here on the sides, and I don't think how it opens, you know, with this magnetic flap over here, really helps. And so it's a deck that I use. I use it, honestly, probably only in February. It is something that is an incredibly easy reader. It's just, it's not my usual style, and I'll show you why. So I'm sure you guys have seen this deck everywhere. It's pretty well known. It's fun. There's a couple cards in here that I really adore. But for the most part, I'm not a huge fan of how people heavy it is and the faces on these people. I don't know. I think the representations of these cards are amazing. Again, it's a really easy reader. I only pull it out, like I said, around February and, you know, Valentine's energy, and people are wanting love and relationship readings. This is my go-to. Now, I've always said that I'm not a collage person, but I'm really leaning into The Goddess of Love by Gabriella Herstick. And so that might be something that might be a deck that's going to replace kind of like this one. The colors here are gorgeous. It's not my usual style, you guys. I'm sure, as you can see from my couple previous decks that I've shown you, I like a muted color palette. I'm kind of grungy. I have that, you know, cannabis connoisseur energy, I guess you could say. This is just, it's in your face. It's colorful. But I don't normally like so many people in my decks, and I think that's one of the issues I have with this deck. Now, I think the Death card is a stunning representation. I also think it has a gorgeous Queen of Swords, if I can find it. And I think it has a lovely Three of Cups. But those are kind of like my favorite cards. Like this face I'm not a huge fan of. And It is literally nothing against Ethne or the artist. It's solely me. Like, I'm the problem. But it is a beautiful deck, you guys. Yeah, this is my Three of Cups. Like, this is so fun. Like, this is so fun and such a beautiful representation. I love some of the cards here, but yeah, it's very much an in your face. And it's so people heavy. And I'm like an animal girly. Yeah, this is the Queen of Swords. Like, as a Libra, I love a kind of bitchy Queen of Swords, and this gives me that. And so I like it. I mean, it's not my usual style. It is a love and relationship reader that I use. You know, I think the backs of the cards are stunning. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my usual style. The gilding is gorgeous. These card backs are beautiful. It shuffles like a dream. You know, it's gorgeous. Now moving into prompt number 5, we have our most favorite deck pairing. It's kind of seasonal, but hear me out, you guys. Don't judge. This is my my horror tarot and my classic horror oracle. Excuse me. Now, it is kind of seasonal, but I'm like a spooky girl, right? We already talked about this. Like, I kind of like all things that are strange and unusual. And this pairing combo really, really gives me that. And so these were recent additions. Now, this box always gets me. I want it to be, you know, you can pull it apart, and it's not. It slides out. And so I'm not a huge fan of the style of the box, but you guys, I love it. I do. So, excuse me. I'm sorry about my voice this morning. I'm going to see if we can split this up and kind of show you what we have going on over here. Now, the Horror Tarot, the cardstock's not the best. It's very uneven, and so it did come bowed corner to corner, which it's not the worst. I'm just letting you know it doesn't stay put very well, but nonetheless. I just love the way that these read together. I think they're beautiful. I think they coincide very well. Again, we have, like, you know, the imagery goes together. The meanings are very potent. Like, it's solid. The Horror Tarot was sent to me by the publishers, and so I'm super grateful for that. They are published, it's UPG Publishing, and it's Underpaid Philosophical Guide, something like that. But if you guys just look up the Horror Tarot UPG, you'll definitely find the deck. And so the Horror Oracle, or the Classic Horror Oracle, was a deck that I purchased to go with this specifically. And during this past spooky season, my oldest daughter and we would pull a card from this Classic Horror Oracle, because they're all based off of classic horror movies. And we would decide on a movie to watch. And I'm not even joking, you guys. We had so much fun. This was like so much fun. Like, we were watching vintage horror together, and yes, like, it's cheesy, but we literally loved it so much. And so these are just a really, really fun deck pairing to do together. Yeah. That was my most favorite pairing this past year. It was super fun. And again, like I said, this past year, I really worked on deciding what my tarot practice was going to look like. Like I said, I was a very, and I still believe that I am, but like a very minimalist person. And so I really only wanted to bring decks into my practice that I knew were going to benefit me. And you guys, this is, I don't know, it's so fun. And I'm exploring. You know, I'm definitely adding many more decks into my practice, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited. And so yeah, that was prompt number 5, your most favorite deck pairing. Now, so we have our prompt number 6. We have our favorite deck modification, bag, or accessory. Now, I haven't modified a deck in ages. And this one right here is so old, you guys. This is, I believe, the only deck I've modified. Well, I also had the Nuages Oracle. I edged those cards in green. And then I gifted the deck away because it wasn't my style. And so this is the only deck I've edged. You guys have all seen this. This is the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Bolin. Some of these are reversed. I'm so sorry. But now, I don't even use this deck. It was edged probably 3 or 4 years ago, if not longer, maybe 5. And this deck is just used for bookmarks. And so, I think maybe in 2025, I need to edge a deck. I mean, I see you guys do it all the time. I think it's fun. I think the cards turn out really gorgeous. But yeah, that might be a goal of 2025, is to edge some decks. I don't think I'm quite into modifying and trimming off borders quite yet. That seems very intimidating to me, but yeah, I might have to edge some decks there. Now we have prompt number 7, which is our favorite deck backs. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee really quick. Okay. Thank you. My voice is warming up, maybe. You guys are going to hear me talk about this deck nonstop. There are so many things about this deck that's my favorite, but for prompt number 7, we're just going to get right into the backs. Now, I'm going to have to do an entire video on this deck. But until then, I'm going to just show you guys the backs. This is very, it's a very punchy deck in that it's outlaw, it's western, it's cowboy, it's rough and rowdy. And for me, it's home. Like, this is my childhood and literally most of my adulthood just in a deck. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys a full walkthrough of this deck at a different time. But I think the backs are absolutely stunning. I love the packaging of this deck. I love the edging. I love the sound it makes. Like, I am a very, you know, I'm a very hands-on person. And for a good deck to be phenomenal, I need it to sound amazing too. And so this oracle was sent to me by Hilary Banks, which is the creator, and I'm so thankful that I have this in my collection, you guys. It's phenomenal. Like I said, we'll have to do a full walkthrough of this. But moving on to prompt 8, we're going to go into a deck with a great back. Now, or a deck with a great theme. Sorry about that. So for this, you guys, this is not for everybody, but it's for me, and I love it. This is the 3 Black Moons Shadow deck by Chris Madsen. It deserves a possible trigger warning if you're not into it. Now, it doesn't vibe with everybody, and that's okay, but it vibes with me, and that's what matters. It has a lot of nudity. It has some very raw emotional responses and energies to it. I hope that I don't get censored from showing this deck, but there's a possibility there. Yeah, this is the 3 Black Moons by Chris Madsen. Now, I think it has such a phenomenal theme to it because it is everything that I believe women experience. Like, this is the entire woman experience compiled into a stunning collection of artwork. And I can relate so hard to this deck. Like, it's gorgeous. It's unique. It is raw. It is self-reflective. I mean, there's almost an ancestral connection here because you just feel the experiences of every woman that's ever lived, I feel like, in this deck. We do have archetypes here. We do have items like wand and vessel. We have, you know, anxiety, and there's love, and there's hate, and there's all sorts of energy here. And it has the strongest theme. Like, I love it. It's stunning, you guys. This is a deck that I'm going to have to grab the tarot deck that is also by this creator. But this is by far my deck that has probably one of the strongest themes. And so I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah, this is my 3 Black Moon Shadow deck by Chris Madsen. Again, the creator sent me this deck for review. Now, a lot of these decks you can read my review on Instagram, and they are posted in my link tree with, you know, where you can purchase the deck. So please, you know, if you feel called to, check out my Instagram and, yeah, read what I have to say about these. So now we're moving on to prompt number 10, which is, or prompt number 9, actually. Okay, so here we are. It's a deck that you are in love with. These are both of my previous decks, so I'm not going to pull them out again. I'm going to just show you. Now, I am a very much, like, I'm a tarot girl. I love a solid tarot deck, you guys. And this year, I don't know, my favorite decks that came out were 2 Oracle decks. I'm just as shocked by it as I'm sure you are. These are both staples in my practice. I don't even know. I've already showed you guys their images and their depictions, and I think they're just stunning. There's no other way around it. These definitely took me by storm this year. And they're not going anywhere. I'm sure you're going to see them here time and time again. And I apologize, but I think they're lovely. Excuse me. And so, yeah, these are definitely, it's a tie. I mean, I don't think one's better than the other. I think that they are both equally well put together and illustrated, and as you can tell, I'm a photography deck girl. This is something I've learned about myself just recently too. And so yeah, these 2 are my favorites. I don't know. I thought it was going to be a tarot deck, you guys, and it's not. It's 2 very well established indie Oracle decks, and I love them so much. And so yeah, that's my 2 decks that I'm in love with this year, and they're not going anywhere. You're going to see them time and time again. Okay, so now on to prompt 10, which is a deck that you wish existed or an out-of-print deck that you want. Okay, so a deck that I wish existed, honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind is like a Sublime themed deck. Now, I'm talking about like the punk rock reggae ska band of, you know, early to mid 90s Long Beach, California. And I think you can see that in my love for the pot tarot, you know, but if I could have like a photography Sublime deck, I think that would just be top notch. Like I'm a huge Sublime fan. There's just a part of me that resonates really hard with that energy. And I, you know, if you guys are not familiar, I think Lou Dog's adorable. Like give me a deck with like Lou Dog on the front and images of their shows, behind the scenes, you know, all the good stuff. That's what I could use. And so, yeah. Now, a deck that doesn't or a deck that's out of print that I want is going to have to be the Sistine Tarot by Rose Bay on Instagram. Again, I told you I'm not like a collage person. However, I think that's something that I'm evolving into. And so I know it's out of print. If I could get my hands on one, I totally would. But yeah, I mean, I love the imagery. To me, it's very goddess of love energy, but more personal. And I know that's hard to explain, but that's kind of where I'm leaning into right now with like, you know, this new year energy. We have spring coming up. It's going to feel very, very blossoming, very girly. And those aren't typically styles that I run towards, but I think that's where I'm going. And so, yeah, if I could get my hands on a copy of the Sistine Tarot, you guys, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And so, okay, moving on. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee. Okay. Moving on, we have prompt number 11, which is a card that sums up this year as a whole, or just a card that you like. Now, I didn't realize that this video was going to be so Oracle deck heavy, but here we are. Again, Oracle decks are something I'm leaning into. I'm very much a tarot girl. I love a system. I love symbology. I love, you know, occult and uncovering mysteries. And I don't know, but this year has taken me by with the amount of Oracle decks that I've brought into my practice. And so, yeah, this is the Audacity Deck by Pine Torch. Again, the creator was so loving when she sent me a copy of this deck for review. After I go through all these prompts, I'm going to pull out the decks that you can find in my link tree on my Instagram, and you guys can purchase them there, or you can just scroll on my Instagram and read these reviews. But yeah, this is the Audacity deck. I think the packaging is adorable, you guys. Like, the box is perfect. The packaging is perfect. But for a card that sums up my year is going to be the Zero of Fucks from this deck. Now, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but this year I have really taken my energy back. Like I am by nature probably what one would assume to be a people pleaser, and that's something that I broke free from this past year. I made my health my priority. I made my energy a priority. And the people who were dragging me down, I basically just drew my boundaries, and they had to respect it or get the fuck out. And so I do think this Zero of Fucks really represents me reclaiming my energy back and me prioritizing myself. And that can be hard as, you know, as a woman of today. Like it's hard to prioritize yourself. But yeah, this is where I am. I think it beautifully describes my year summed up. But while we're here, I just wanted to show you a little bit more about this deck. It is super unique. Now it does have some tarot, oopsie, the guidebook. Guidebook's really cute, you guys. It does have some tarot majors in here, but it is not by any means a tarot deck. Like, we have the bottle, we have Life of the Party. I'm pretty sure there's like the chili cheese fries. Like, it's fun, you guys. We have the breast pump. chicken nugget. Like, this is a deck that's designed for millennial moms, and I'm just gonna say it. And yes, I am one of those, you know, 2 of D's, and we have, you know, D's nuts. Like, you guys, it's cheeky. It doesn't take itself too serious. It's beautiful. I love the illustrations. This fiddle leaf fig reminds me exactly of my sister and her inability to keep a fiddle fig leaf tree alive. I don't know. You guys, this is for every millennial mom that ever existed. It's really cute. It's fun. We have like the high priestess smoking a joint in the bathtub. Highly relatable. We have the slice, which is giving me Ace of Swords energy. Just, yeah, the chili cheese fries, like, it's really cute. It's really fun. But yeah, I would have to say my most relatable card this year is going to have to be the 0 fucks. Like, you have to reclaim your energy and reclaim your power and prioritize yourself. And that is something that I actively, because that's not easy, but I actively worked hard in doing this year. And yeah, I mean, I love it, you guys. I love it so much. So that is my Audacity deck. Now we have a tarot practice reflection. This I don't have a deck for, but I do have my very beautiful Magic of I planner. So I saw for a long time, you guys, ever since I've started my tarot journey, which was back in 2020, I believe. Yeah, 2020 is when I started my tarot journey. But ever since then, I've always done long form journaling, and that's solely because I'm a writer. Once the juices are flowing, I can write solid, nonstop, and so I need a lot of space. But I did see Tarot Magpie start this practice where she takes the overlay, like a monthly overlay. Let me see if I can get there without showing you guys too much personal, because I do have everything in here. I have, you know, doctor's appointments and children appointments and everything. Everything that you would need for a month in here. But yeah, this is my monthly overlay. Let me see if I can move my coffee a little bit. Okay. This is my monthly overlay for January. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a deck and I'm going to, you know, title it right over here. And I'm going to do exactly what Tarot Magpie does. And I'm just going to simply pull a card for the day, go into the guidebook and jot down just a couple notes. It seems like such a fun way to get to know a deck. It seems like an easy practice, something you can easily do. It's not going to be so much as like, what do I need to know or card of the day, but more like simply drawing a card just to learn about the deck. And because I'm bringing so many more decks into my practice this year and, you know, the second half of 2024, I love this. And so this is a tarot practice reflection that I'm going to change and add into my tarot practice. And I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be so much fun. And so I think it'll also be so satisfying to look at all these, you know, monthly overlays and see like all the work I've done. Like, I love seeing my handwriting. I love things being organized, and you guys, I'm really looking forward to it. This is my 4th year with my Magic of I planner, and I feel like every year I have this, I dive further into it, and I love it. Now, for our last prompt, we have pull a card for the new year or a deck that you want to use. And I'm sure you guys have seen this, but again, it's new to me. And so this is what we have, is the Tarot of Abyss by Anna Torman, I believe. But you guys, I'm like really excited. Again, it was something that had been on my wish list. I don't know why I didn't take the leap until recently, but this is a deck that I look forward to working with. The most I've done with it is walk through it. Now I have my youngest daughter, and for some reason she was really drawn to this deck too, and so she helped me in a way, I guess inadvertently, sit at my desk and shuffle through these cards by spreading them out and playing with them. And so they're not in order, but I'm not mad about it, you guys. Like, she has such a little connection with tarot, and I can't wait to see how that evolves. But yeah, this is my Tarot of the Abyss. It's definitely one of the decks that I plan to work with. Now, I've shown you so many decks here, and some of them I have taken the time and energy to dive into and really get to know, but some of them I haven't. And so these ones that I haven't gotten to know yet, I'm really looking forward to showing them and working with them in this upcoming year. So yeah, that's the Tarot of the Abyss. I'm sure you guys have seen this deck everywhere. I have too, for years. And then I just recently decided to take the leap. And so that's my Tarot of the Abyss. Okay, you guys, that was my last and final prompt here. I'm going to pull out the decks that I have written reviews on that creators have sent me, or publishers, and you know, that made their way into this video. And you can find them located in my link tree. We have my 3 Black Moons. We have the Outlaw Oracle. We have the Audacity Deck. And we have my Horror Tarot. Now, these are decks that creators have all sent me. Oopsie, sorry about that. And so, yeah, trying to get them all to fit in here. That seems slightly impossible, but it's okay. So if you want to read a review of these decks, please make your way over to my Instagram and my link tree. Or not read a review, but, you know, purchase them. I have direct links there, but you can also read a review on my Instagram. If this is a video that you guys liked or enjoyed or made your way all the way through it, I genuinely appreciate that, because it is, like I said, my first upload. Please, please, please feel free to like or subscribe and check out my Instagram. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to a new year posting with you guys. Thank you.